This is the Simpit Live. I'm your host, Sean Cole, and today we are here bringing you some of the latest news in sim racing. And I'm not just looking for news just to tell you the news. There are plenty of places and resources for that, but it's the topics that I think deserve a little added discussion or attention beyond just a couple screenshots and paragraphs of text to read. And today's topic comes to us. I actually found the story on Motorsport Auto, and to be perfectly honest, I actually found it on David Greco's, who works for Codemasters. I found it on his Facebook feed, but it linked to this Motorsport Auto, motorsport.com, website, where there's an announcement where Formula One is actually announcing an eSport World Championship. And, early in the year when I was covering the Visa Vegas, which we're seeing the image here is the image they used at Motorsport, by the way. That's actually not Codemasters, funny enough, for their image in this picture. But back when that event happened, I actually talked about how I thought this year was going to really change the landscape when it came to competitive gaming, especially talking about sim racing. And with that being huge competitions, obviously that $1 million race in Vegas that went on, you're also talking about the McLaren Championship, the iRacing Championships, Race Room with that Mercedes DTM Championship. There is a lot of money at stake. There are a lot of opportunities at stake, and it is not the same as it used to be where you'd win a championship and maybe go home with a steering wheel or some product from sim racing. But now we're talking big money, potentially even career-type money for those who are going to be at the top, and certainly opportunities, whether it be just for the fun of driving certain cars or maybe a chance to actually work with those teams. So again, getting back to today's announcement and the importance and relevance of this announcement, what's really striking to me is that it's being done with Codemasters. So Codemasters also talked about this story today at their website, and Codemasters with the F1 2017 game, which comes out this week, actually, so it's sort of interesting, relevant timing and news. But this is sort of the Madden of sim racing games, if you want to call it that. We get a new generation of the game each year, with the biggest and most significant changes, unfortunately, being liveries and the current season and tracks and things like that, which is super important, especially to the Formula One aficionados who are into gaming. But as a hardcore sim racer, it leaves a little to be desired still, in the full sim category, and that's kind of why I bring this up and the relevance of something. Now, this championship, in all fairness, is being done with Gfinity. You see I have it highlighted. Gfinity, if you don't know them, they are one of the big elite gaming championships that travels the world doing Street Fighter and Rocket League and Counter-Strike, I believe, is the third thing. And, this is the thing where you have these, fully pro gaming teams competing in those three games I just named, and they are adding this F1 2017 Formula One Championship to their list and lineup. And I don't know how it's going to play out in real life. These Rocket League, Street Fighter, Counter-Strike, they've been going a little, they've been going for a long time, and with that, how are they going to incorporate the new version of racing into that? It's a little different than shooting and things like that. And who is going to be eligible to compete? So, when you think about it, it's sort of the teams that go into this are professional teams with big sponsors, big money behind them. And in the world of sim racing, I can only think of 2, 3, maybe a handful or a couple handfuls of teams that are of that caliber. And obviously, I would expect to see Redline perhaps fielding a team in this. They're the ones certainly prepared and established enough and have the backing to be able to do it. But, this isn't going to be the kind of gaming that we've seen in the past. This is pro rank. The minute it gets into this Gfinity level, you're talking pro rank, not just an independent one-time competition or shootout. So I just did, by the way, hello everybody who's joining the stream. I appreciate you coming out for the live news. And if you're just joining us, today's topic is Formula One's announcement of an esports world championship. Not wanting to miss out on that big attention and that younger audience that the gaming market is bringing to so many different games, but now auto racing is finally seeing the light. And we always hoped it was going to be acceptance as Sims, but it seems now the acceptance is more on a marketing angle. But to be honest, I don't care what gets us in that light, as long as we get in that light. They will all realize how important and how great sim racing is. Right now, they look at it as an avenue or a link to a younger audience. Let's face it, gamers are younger than traditional audiences of other things in media, and this is a great way for them to, you know, guarantee the future of Formula One and motorsports in general. So, anyway, getting back to saying hello to everybody, thank you very much for joining us. I did just make a slight sound tweak, so hopefully that's going to be right. Yesterday, I did a live stream and just made a nightmare of it because the truck I was running was twice as loud, but that's a different topic. Today, we are here talking about this, and, you know, we're talking F1 2017 comes out on the 25th, so that's Friday. Everyone will be able to play the game, and I don't even really mind using the word game. I don't know, if you read through all of their marketing, would they use the word sim, or do they call it a game? I'm not going to go through it all right now, but this sim, the Madden of racing, every year we get a new version, and it is coming out this week, but more importantly, it is being used in a professional gaming championship. So, you know, the questions that I have, is it important that this be the sim? We could get into a whole side track conversation about Formula One's license being, you know, kind of locked up with Codemasters, sort of like when Porsche was locked up with EA, and we never saw Porsches unless they're fake or by different names in other sims until recently, when that license finally went open to everybody. Well, open to anybody to obtain, not just open to anybody. In the case of Formula One, it's really been locked up. We see Formula One cars here and there, but no other sim can deliver you all of the tracks, all the liveries, all the car makes in their proper form. And if anyone even if the modding world put it all together and put a bundle, you know, a bow tie on it and said, here it is as a gift, everything you need for 2017, that would get shut down by Formula One very quickly, because it's a license they protect very, very strongly, and rightfully so. So, anyway, I don't have a whole lot more to put on into this, other than the things that come to mind that we won't know until it plays out. I mean, we're in this new generation where news trickles out. We get little bits of the information on it, and they tease us, and then they wait. And, you know, they're saying for this year, so they can't wait too long to get this actually up and running and going. But, you know, the things that I do wonder about, what does it mean being on F1 2017? Will it bring out the biggest gamers? What will the overall prize? I didn't see an actual prize other than being acknowledged. And let's face it, if Formula One acknowledges you as a champion, that is a hell of a prize, regardless of what other things go along with it. The other thing that concern's a little strongly worded, is with it being in the Gfinity ranks of gaming, this is a gaming league, you know, Rocket League, Street Fighter, Counter-Strike, and pro gaming companies, teams that have so much behind them. They're very established. Sim racing is more of an independent sport. So how do we, the average gamer, get involved? That might not be possible without being associated with a team of that level that can, you know, these events are done live, if I'm not mistaken. So you're talking about traveling to the event, lodging, entry fees into the event, and then huge money at stake. So this is absolutely different than what we've seen in other competitions, whether you're talking about the Visa Vegas, which it was an independent competition that then they traveled you, or at least it came out of your prize money. In the case of iRacing, you win the championship, you get the money. In the case of McLaren, you get the championship and you're going to have a job at McLaren. So this is unique, this is different, and it's also maybe more on the gaming side. So I just want to catch up with a few of you guys before I bring it to a halt. And Jesse, I see you're here with us. And yeah, exactly. I called it the Madden of sim racing because every year we get a new release of this title with the biggest change. I'm not saying the only change, but the biggest change being the liveries and the current season tracks and conditions for the year, which is a big step because nobody else can provide you that. They're the only company that can give you that for Formula One. Now on the on the game side, we've seen things like the career mode change. What other things like this version comes with some vintage cars. So there always are slight differences, but it is still the Madden of sim racing without doubt. Qualified for the next event in the next year, a driver character in the next game, and an invite for Grand Prix in 2018. So there you go. Toby's given us maybe a little insight as to what the possible prize would be. And can you imagine? That would be pretty awesome, getting your name in it. But I think most of these guys doing the Gfinity series, quite honestly, these are pro gamers. I think these guys are looking for cash. Cash is king as a prize. So, but it'd be very interesting to see how this all plays out. It'll be interesting to see how it's perceived by the gaming world, the guys who normally view Rocket League, normally view Counter-Strike or Street Fighter. And will that crowd who pays for tickets, as you see here in this graphic, to watch these giant venues, it's not a small thing at all, what will their entertainment value be in the racing world? And if you're talking about 3 or 4 or 5 teams going, are you talking about 3 or 4 drivers from each team competing head-to-head? Anyway, I don't have those details. They're not all available, but more will play out over time on this. But I think it was really important, again, just to get this out there, talk about it. If you haven't, I saw the story at motorsport.com. You can check it out there. It's also at Codemasters under their news. And I'm sure if you dig around at the official F1 2017 page, I don't see it here. So they're, but again, it's a regular Codemasters Motorsport, and I think there was probably a mention somewhere at the Gfinity site. But the best news you're going to find out is this story here at Codemasters directly, or at the Motorsport. And make no mistake, this is the Visa Vegas race that they're showing there, which is kind of interesting because that was R-Factor 2 Formula E cars, but it was certainly a proper championship. So anyway, I don't see any big questions on this. Hopefully you'll all be entertained. Hopefully these races will be streamed live too, so maybe we can view it. I'm looking here, and I bet they charge for the stream. I don't know a ton about Gfinity. Watch the Elite Series from the comfort of your home now on BBC 3. So you're talking about actually airtime on national television there in Great Britain. And Toby says it's actually also on, what is that rude interruption? Cell phone. Can't help that on live TV. Anyway, and Formula One website. Let's go ahead and check that out real quick and see what they have. Thank you very much, Toby. I appreciate it. And, that is exactly why I wanted to do certain news live. When it required discussion, or maybe add other insiders who know more about it than even I do. So here we're at the Formula One page, and right here the story, eSports Series. And this is actually the longest, best story I've seen, with some quotes from people at Formula One, Codemasters, and Gfinity. So you can check that out. I will add these links to the description of the show so that you can go ahead and get them from there, or you can go ahead and check it out yourself. Not that hard to find at Formula1.com, Motorsport.com, or Codemasters.com. So, again, that's the end of this news. I appreciate you all for coming out. I'd like to hear your takes in the comments about this championship and what you think it'll do for sim racing, what you think it'll do for gaming, what you think of Codemasters being the chosen game, and what you think the gaming world, what their perception of what we're doing will be when they get exposed to it at this level. So those are the thoughts that all occur to me, and why I want to do a live show versus just cut and pasting this news story and putting the links. So I hope you'd enjoyed it. If you've enjoyed this show and you've enjoyed our other live streams and you haven't already, please subscribe. That way you will get a notification of our live shows, any of our videos. We have a regular video coming out later today. But please subscribe. And again, if you ever have stories or topics that you think we should discuss on the live show, email me directly at Shaun@thesimpit.com. That's SHAUN, Shaun@thesimpit.com. And I am always looking for topics to cover. They don't even have to be news related. Like yesterday, we talked about maybe doing a VR discussion and other things like that. So they could just be open forum topics that you think that you and others might have an opinion on, as well as myself. So again, I hope you've enjoyed today's show. This is The Sim Pit. I'm Shaun Cole, and I'll see you on the track.